Welcome to Weekend Wanderlust. Join Gume, myself Stephanie, our dogs Henry, Max and Sheila, and sometimes our teenagers as we go on adventures that include hiking, camping, kayaking, and even flying. Join us as we travel along. We are so glad you are here. Hello everyone. We are camping again. We have our trailer there. And we are at Goliad State Park. It's a very historical park. We're going to look at some of the missions and do some trails. It's not a big hiking park, but there definitely are a lot of things to see out here. So there are a bunch of pecan trees here, and we are on the San Antonio River. A lot of pecan groves have been planted in the history along the river because of the water source. So you can even see on the table remnants of pecan eaters. Originally established near present Matagorda Bay, Mission Nuestro Señora del Espíritu Santo de Zúñiga was moved to this San Antonio River location in 1749. Here, for more than 70 years, the Franciscan missionaries taught the native Aranama peoples the religious principles and craft skills they needed to become good Spanish citizens on the remote northern frontier. The immense herds of cattle that supported the mission population became the foundation for ranching industry in modern Texas. Mission Espiritu Santo officially became a secular church in 1830 and for a time was the site of Anorama College. The buildings gradually fell into disuse and people in Goliad used the stones for buildings in town. During the 1930s, craftsmen in the Work Projects Administration and CCC programs reconstructed the mission chapel, granary, and workshop buildings.
up until about maybe 20, 30 years ago, or maybe 40 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
And now it's the whole square that's there is historical. And a lot of the people that live there were from an expedition that came from Mexico.
Oh, yeah?
Known as the Mier expedition. That's where a lot of the Hispanic surname Guerra
Yeah.
came from. And you'll notice that in that area of the state, there's a lot of little towns called Los Guerras, and there's a lot of people's or last name Guerra as well, which is, it always struck me odd that how come we have so many Guerras here? But they might very well be descendants of all those people that lived in that area.
So when I was reading that sign earlier, that was a similar thing that occurred here in Goliad, is that people took the stones from the building and used it for construction. And that they only started treating it, I guess, as a historical monument after that. And then the CCC came in and rebuilt some stuff. So. It says the Aranama called this land home long before the Spanish arrived. The Aranama hunted and gathered food along the banks of the San Antonio and Guadalupe rivers. This way of life required expert knowledge of the land and its resources. Last walls standing. It says these are some of the last remaining walls from the mission's construction in 1758. Some historians believe that this room was used as a sacristy. A typical sacristy is used by priests to hold ceremonial items and to store important records, such as birth, death, and marriage documents. However, this room was used. Its remaining walls continue to preserve the history of the mission today. The mission's success depended on the availability of goods such as clothing, wine, and tobacco. Traders carried supplies along El Camino Real de los Tejas, a network of roads that linked Texas to Mexico City. The Mayo Domo, an Indian convert selected by the missionaries, was overseer for the workshop. This room, refurnished to appear much as the mayordomo's office might have looked in the 18th century, was where daily work assignments were made, mission records kept, and tools and implements used. This was the secular center of the mission, just as the church was the religious center. You can see the sun. It shines on Christ. Mission solar illumination. Those who designed and built churches in the Spanish missions often oriented them so that the sun would shine into the buildings and illuminate religious statues, pictures, altars, etc. during significant holy days. This is a way of practicing sacred geometry. Jesus, the crowning with thorns. A wall fragment reveals a story. This wall fragment is over 200 years old and is from Nuestra Señora del Rosario Mission, located 4 miles west of Goliad. Archaeologists from the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department uncovered the fragment in 1974. They wrapped it in plastic jacket for protection. Using dental picks and brushes to remove loose dirt and debris, the archaeologists uncovered a colored motif. Testing of the motif colors revealed that crushed minerals rendered the pigments. The red pigments come from hematite and yellow is made from limonite, both found in the area shale, sandstone, and alluvial sand. The color black is made from geophyte, an ore found in northeast Texas, and it was most likely a trade item. Nine flags over Goliad. The history of Presidio, La Bahia, and Goliad can be traced through the flags of the various nations that have controlled this region of South Texas. The frequent change of flags throughout the 18th and 19th centuries reflects the site's turbulent past. United States, Confederate, Republic of Texas, Mexican, Second Republic of Texas, First Independence, First Republic of Texas, French, and Spanish. So he's the reason why we celebrate Cinco de Mayo. The Battle of Puebla on May 5, 1862, General Zaragoza led his men to victory over France. Choose your army. Battle of Puebla. Mexico, battle readiness, ammunition, strategy, motivate your soldiers. And here we go. Lift to reveal your fate. Victory for Mexico! What?
This is how my grandma had her
door?
doors.
Really?
And this is how it was, the house. It just traveled all the way around.
All the way down?
That's how they were made.
It's probably good for airflow.
And then they had doors out to the center area, and then they had windows or doors going out.
Huh?
Hidalgo, this is Hidalgo. Father Hidalgo.
All these things were excavated out here.
Really?
Yeah, that's what she was telling me. There's a pipe.
It was a battle that they had there, and then there was a gentleman by the name of, I think his name was Johnson.
Johnson.
Yes, and they were all captured by the Mexican army, and they were here in this church. They imprisoned them. They surrendered to the Mexican army of Santa Ana, and they were put there. So Santa Anna didn't know what to do with them and everything, so he was gonna massacre them. But he didn't want to ride on his hands. So what he did was he sent men due west, some southeast, and some decided to go down the river that takes you up to the coastal area. And in doing that, he sent, after he let them go, he sent men after them and he killed everybody.
What?
He massacred all of them. And apparently all those men, there's a monument off to this other side where they're buried, all in a mass grave, And that was very interesting because one of the young men that survived managed to make it to San Jacinto and ended up fighting with General Sam Houston, who defeated Santa Anna. And then almost a year later, he was accused of murder, and he was killed for that.
Wow.
It was a sad thing. And then a doctor that does phrenology, that studies bumps on your head,
Oh, yeah?
wanted to study his head. So they cut his head off and they brought it over to him, and he kept the head for like a year studying that. It was kind of a very interesting thing that he was telling me. Like, wow, I can't believe that. And later on, there was another general that came out to this area and found the bodies that they had buried all together, all scattered all over the place. Apparently, animals had dug them out.
Mm.
And the general decided to go ahead and do a mass burial